If you're here watching this video, then I probably do not need to tell you that glitch building in No Man's Sky has taken a serious hit, with several techniques no longer working at all and others having becoming very unreliable, requiring far more patience than they ever did before. It can be frustrating to start even a new project. I spent a full live stream testing out the methods, trying different approaches, see if there are any useful workarounds, and you can check that stream out on my second channel, the B-side, where all of my live streams have been taking place for quite some time. I will leave a link in the description below. In this guide, I want to share you which techniques still work and the workarounds you may need without dwelling too long on the broken ones. So let's jump into it. Alright, so I have prepared an area down here, which is going to help us to do some glitching. I have divided these in different rooms, so it's easier for me to understand where we are and what I want to show. Let me just go into my build camera. You can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rooms. We're going to be talking about 8 glitch techniques in here. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is how to blend items through a surface. So we're going to be blending building pieces through the surface of the floor. Now, you do not need any fancy button presses for this. This is very basic, in my opinion, not a glitch, but okay, it doesn't really matter. We are talking about the results and what we can do. We're going to move our build camera underneath the floor. And in this example, I would like to take a teleporter, a short-range teleporter. Now, this is how I normally also explained how to build yourself a teleporter bridge or how to build a teleporter elevator without doing any fancy glitching. You can just do it by merging it through the floor. Now, you can see that my teleporter is red stated, which we can sort by just pressing free placement. And now we are placing it in a green state. Now, if I would like to place it through the floor, and let's rotate it 90 degrees like this, and I just build it, you can see that my teleporter has been built, merging through the floor. And I can build a second one just by rotating it to the other side, and I can build that one as well. So now I got 2 teleporters merged together into one position. And if I want, I can even extend this and say I would like to get 3 of them, or I would like to get 5 of them, like that. So I got 5 teleporters now merged together into one nice cluster. And this could be serving as yourself as a nice hub for a teleporter elevator, or you can choose to go in which direction you want to travel. That is a way to do this. And if you want, you can remove the floor now, replace the new floor. You can see this is now nicely merged and nicely easy to walk into as well. Alright, so the next technique we're going to talk about is the Tether Glitch. The Tether Glitch is a very easy technique to put items on a surface without too much hassle. Again, no need for fancy button presses, combinations, and like triggers. You can just build it on the surface without any issue. Now, how do we do that? Let me show you what is going on first. Let's go to a building part that does not have, let's take the anomaly seal. So as you can see right now, this seal is not following the surface of that wedge. It is just going to be horizontal. And if I want to build it on the wall, you can see the same here. It's not going to follow the surface of the wall. The Tether Glitch is going to change that. And how do we do that? We are just going to use our part, our anomaly seal in this case, and we're going to toggle to the wire. To toggle to the wire, you press the triangle. Now, by the way, you might already have seen that the buttons are showing below my camera here which buttons I am pressing, but it also will show on what platform you are playing which buttons you should be pressing to make it work. So toggle the wire. So now we have the wire instead of the building part. If I toggle back, you can see I can toggle back and forth between the part, the anomaly seal, and the wire. I am going to place my wire right here, and I'm going to stretch that wire out to the position where I would like my anomaly seal to be. If I now toggle back to that anomaly seal, you will see that it's now following the surface of that wedge. And you can see that is because it is following that wire. So if I would pull the wire here, it will be following that surface. It would go that direction. You can see it's constantly following the angle of where the wire is pointing at. So I just need to place it, like for example here, toggle back to the wire, and then just build it. If it's possible, you can also scale still this part before you place it. If that is necessary, you can scale it. and then build it. And there we go. So now we got a nice little pedestal there that is following the direction of that wedge. And you can do the same on the wall. You can just say toggle to the wire, pull the wire out, bring the seal back. If it goes red stated, just go to free placement, and then you can scale it again and build it once again. Very simple, very straightforward. This is the Tether Glitch. If you want to get more information about how the Tether Glitch works and what are some other applications, I did make a dedicated video about it. That is still up to date, so you can go and check it out. I will drop a link in the description as well, where you can just go and check it out and see what you can do with it. For example, how do I make railings on my stairs? While we're still in the room, let's also talk about the wire glitch. Now, because the wire glitch has pretty much the same results as the Tether Glitch, you might not even want to use the wire glitch in this case, but it is smart to learn and understand it because you will need it for the next techniques for sure. Now, the wire glitch is going to have the same result as the Tether Glitch in this example, because if I go to this anomaly seal again and I toggle to the wire like that, you can see we are at the same situation as we would be doing a Tether Glitch. But instead of pulling a wire, we are just going to build it straight from the wire connector. So wherever my connector is aimed at, that is where that anomaly seal is going to be built. Now in this case, we're going to be needing a combination of two buttons pressed in a certain cadence, which means we're going to have to toggle to the wire first and then build. But the timing between those two is so short, it almost feels like you press them at the same time. So what we're going to do on my controller, I'm going to toggle to the wire, and while I'm toggling, I am going to be building on the controller. On your PC or on your other platforms, it's going to be the same, but it will be a different set of buttons, or it might have a little bit of a different feel. Still, we are just going to press toggle wire and build with the small preference to the toggle wire first. So just do this. You can see I have now built the anomaly seal on the surface, following the surface of the wedge. And we can do the same with the wall. Just aim at the wall, toggle to the wire and build. You can see that now this has been built as well. Very straightforward to understand, a little bit harder to, of course, do. It will take you some time to understand the cadence if you are new to this, but it still works pretty fine. I would say that wire glitching is probably one of the techniques that has the least problems even after all these updates, at least for now. All right, the next technique we're going to talk about is the reverse wire glitch, which in theory is the same as the wire glitch. You are just starting from a different starting point. The wire glitch is building from a wire to a building part, while the reverse wire glitch is using a building part to glitch in a wire, and then using that wire, that starting point of the wire, as a glitch point for future glitches. All right, so let's begin with duplicating a floor. And I want to put that floor in the center point here, and I would like to have a wire where the floor is going to be. I would like to have a wire connection right here where the floor is going to be placed. So we're going to go to the floor, and we're going to do the same technique as we did before. Toggle wire and build, and just do the button presses again. And if it doesn't work, you might have to do it again. Now, this technique has definitely felt a little bit of nerf here, because the technique does take some time. But if it works, you can see I got my wire right there. Now I got a wire where the center of that floor would be. Now the problem is I cannot just place this wire anywhere, because that is, as you can see, my wire is controlling the direction of my connection point. So if I put my wire here and I wire glitch a floor on that connector, wire glitch, not place, you can see that my floor is now following the direction of my wire. If you want to learn more about controlling that direction, understanding how it works, I have a very detailed guide about this as well, still pretty much up to date, which I will be dropping in the description as well. For this guide, I will just show you the basics so you can understand how you can get a nice straight and flat wire. So let me remove this floor. Let me remove this wire. As you can see, I have a garage door prepared here, and let me just rotate that so it's easy to see without that door. There we go. So I got a garage door prepared here because we do have a connector here that is already level like that and is also in the center of the floor here, which means I got two orientations already nicely set. We had the horizon and we got the center. The only thing we're going to need is then also the horizon on this, the level of this floor. So let's duplicate a floor, place it in here, and we're going to reverse wire glitch once again, and then bring that wire to the connector of that garage door. Now you can see that this connector has been taking over the orientation. You can see right there, the orientation of that connector is the same as the orientation on this connector. The only difference we have is that this wire is now going in this angle, and we do not want that. We want this wire to go in the angle of this floor. So what we're going to do, we're going to bring another floor on this side. We're going to reverse wire glitch again, and then pull that wire to this connector right here, which now means that this floor, this wire, is following this level right here. And it also has copied over the orientation of that connector. If you want to understand more about that, again, check out my other video. Let me remove this angled wire now, because we only want this connector to be working with. Now, this connector is going to allow me to glitch several parts on top of it. So, in the past, we used to call this the blender glitch. I have just, in my personal opinion, just called this all the wire glitch. It just makes a difference on where you glitch it. We are going to use a connector itself to glitch something on top of that, which makes the fixed point a very fixed and reliable point to work on. So we are going to be glitching a teleporter on there. So I could say I would like to glitch this base teleporter module, and I would like to glitch it on top of that connector. So we are going to toggle back to our wire, bring that wire to the connector, make sure it shows as if it's connected, and then we're going to do a wire glitch again, which is going to glitch the base teleport module on top of that wire. We can now just put that floor, and you can see it's nicely merged. So if you want a base with a perfectly oriented, perfectly placed teleporter, a little bit merged in the floor, that's one way you can do it. Another application you could use this for is to merge two building parts into one location. For example, I could say I would like the stone wall, large window, this one here, and we're going to glitch it on that connector. But I would like to have glass into this. All right. So where do we have glass? I think we have some glass in this wooden wall here. Let's take this large timber triple, and we're going to also glitch it onto that connector. And can you see I got a nice glass window into my wall. So that's one way you can merge things together, perfectly snap together without any issues. Now, take into account that if I do that, there will be no more snap point. So I cannot snap a floor on top of that. So the first thing I should do is make sure that this window is gone, snap a floor on top, and then we are going to take that window, and then we are going to glitch it in like that. So understand the sequence of things, because if there's two building parts in the same position, they will be blocking off any other snap points against it. That means I cannot snap a floor or a wall next to that, because that wall already considers something being snapped against it. So these kind of things need to start doing like decoration or detailing after you're done with most of the work. All right, next technique. Let's talk about the adjacency glitch, and also linked to that, I don't know what is going on with my camera lately. I think it's confusing with my little character there, thinking that has a face. Anyway, so we're going to be talking about the adjacency glitch and the technique linked to that, which is the scale glitch. Now, the adjacency glitch in the past was able to glitch from these parts to these parts, from the stone floor to the small stone panel, for example. But you might not know that, but in the past there was to be a cycle button right there next to it. Because if you compare this, for example, with my decoration, you can see that cycle part is still there. You can see the cycle part, which is allowing me to cycle through my menu, which means I can cycle from this to this to this to this, this. which is no longer possible with structural parts, sadly enough. So the only way you can use this now is in very limited regions like decorations and some parts like this. Gas extractor can be cycled to this. Sadly enough, they took it away from the floor, but okay, it is what it is. What can you use it for? Is if you, for example, would like to scale a part from, for example, the tall cabinet to the barrel fabricator, or what I do like to do a lot is work with the water tower and then the latte, I don't know, lat, maybe? I need to check what do they pronounce it.
Lathe.
Anyway, I'm going to be using the lat and we're going to cycle to the water tower, but we're going to scale up this lat first. Lathe. I think it's a lathe. So I can scale this up, but if you look at the water tower, it is not possible to scale that water tower. But I do want to have a large water tower. So we are going to be scaling this one up. And then we're going to be pressing cycle, which you will see in a second which button that is on your platform. Cycle and build. So instead of toggle and build, we're going to be doing cycle and build. All right. So we're going to cycle this part. And while we are cycling, we're going to be building the water tower instead. So the game is going to be confused. It's going to build the water tower instead of this part here, but scaled up. If it doesn't work, we might have to do it again, but let's see. It worked. All right, so we got a large water tower compared with this one. And it is also possible to use this one now to use to glitch in the refinery here, but also scaled up. So that means, let's go into our building menu. I am going to duplicate this one here. We're going to place it now on this floor. And we're going to do another cycle and build. You can see right now, I now build up a fully scaled up Atlantidium refinery, which I could not resize as well. So this is where the adjacency glitch still can become handy if you want to do some scale glitching. The problem is, you do not want to be scaling up until, for example, I want this to be scaled, so I need to go through all of these building parts until this one is that scale. And then you might say, it's too big, so I need to make it a little bit smaller. So you start again from here, and you have to go to the whole series again. So this is where you might want to look into the adjacency glitch, the universal adjacency glitch. So let's talk about the universal adjacency glitch. The universal adjacency glitch is going to allow you to use this part, the wash trough, and build this part, the by-bit switch. So there is no more restriction in which menu you are. You can just jump between all the menus, whatever you want to build. You just need to prepare the area. So, for example, let's say I would like to build this electromagnetic generator, and I would like to build it here where this floor was supposed to be. Now, of course, we could use the wire again, the reverse wire glitch, and then glitch that on that wire. Would work without a problem. But I'm just trying to give you an idea on how the technique works, and then you can figure out applications for it yourself. So to do this, we're going to be placing that generator here, so we can use this as a template and duplicate it when we need to. Because this technique is a bit iffy and might cause you to, fail on several occasions. Now, there is an issue with that, which I'm going to show you right now, and also the workaround to fix that. So, if I have this electromagnetic generator, EMG, if I have this EMG, we're going to be storing this now in our cache. To store it into your cache, you need to press two buttons, which is toggle wire and edit build. So again, you should see the buttons below. So we're going to be pressing toggle wire and edit build, and this one didn't succeed. You can see I need to get the building block that I'm aiming at. That one needs to be lit up blue as I'm going to be editing. So do this again, toggle wire, then we do it again. All right, now we got it. So now I got the edit part, which means I can duplicate this floor, and then I can snap this floor in position right here, and then we can try to do a wire glitch. It's not going to work. I'm going to do a wire glitch. You can see it's not working. The problem seems to be that the wire seems to be pushing all the way to the bottom there where the terrain is, and the the glitch does not succeed. So what you need to do is you need to build yourself a little platform below it, like that, just half a wall below there, not a half a wall, a short wall below it, so that the glitch does not push itself all the way through, it gets blocked by the floor. So let's do this again. Let's duplicate, store it into our cache, duplicate the floor, place it into position, and do a wire glitch. And there we go. Now the electromagnetic generator has been placed instead of the floor. And I can put the floor again just to nicely close it off. Now, the problem with this technique is now, which you could do in the past, is you could actually combine parts in that same position. So I could say I would like to build this supply depot, store it into my cache, duplicate its floor, and glitch it in. That doesn't work anymore. So the universal adjacency glitch is no longer possible to merge parts in the same location, which means you might want to start looking into using this technique instead, the reverse wire glitch, to get that result. But it is good to know that this is how you can fix your universal adjacency by using a little platform below it just to avoid this issue. Using the universal adjacency, we can also do a scale glitch, which is much more reliable than that one right there, because you do no longer need to do all these jumps. You can just jump from one part to the other. So for example, I could go to my heating, I think. I like to use my heating. I just might be biased, but I can use this heater to scale up and decide which scale I want to work. Now, you don't need to work large. You can also go for small. You can scale down if you feel like scaling down. For example, people would like to scale down the teleporter, which is possible. So in here, we can now say I would like to scale up this light box. As you can see, I cannot scale the light box, but I can use the universal adjacency to do that. So we're going to be storing the light box in our cache, and we're going to duplicate that large heater, and then we're going to be glitching, wire glitching, that one to the light box. And it didn't work. Let's try it again. Light box, store to cache, duplicate, and there we go. All right, so now you can see I have scaled up this light box to its max. Now, just take into account also with the other glitching is that many of the scaled up parts will no longer snap. So for example, these two light boxes will not snap. It is not possible to snap these light boxes together. Another problem is that you will not be able to connect a wire to that, which means that you will not be able to power it. There are some techniques and some tricks. For example, I could say, let me just put my solar panel here so we can check if it works. For example, here, if I take my light box, let me just duplicate this. And let's connect the wire. Let's see how far this is connected. If I remove it, you can see that this connector, this wire connected, the wire is right here, right? The wire was like right on the outside. So we need to do this by tree. So I think the wire needs to be somewhere here, distance from that light box. So one thing you could do is say, I'm just going to take a small floor. And I'm going to wire glitch that floor to that connector like this. And we're just going to wire glitch it against it, so that there is a floor now making a distance. And then we're going to put that wire against that floor here, and then pull it to that connector here. And now you can see that I powered up my light box by simply pushing the wire further out. Now this is very different if you're going to do this on the electromagnetic generator. It's going to be different if you're doing this on a scaled up teleporter. So you will have to figure this out yourself by checking what is the actual distance on the small scaled part. And then of course, as I said, you can make a small teleporter. You could say, I would like to have my teleporter standing on a little table. And then let's take a teleporter. We're going to store this in our cache. We're going to duplicate this little heater here. And then just glitch it in. You can now see I glitched my little teleporter there. And funny enough, this one still works, so you can connect your wire to it without any problems. This is one way to do a scale glitch. You can also use the wire for that, and then the wire will allow you to do some other techniques. For example, you can put scale parts on the wall, or you can put it on a dedicated position that is really reliable on, for example, I wanted to have it on the edge of a floor. So let me show you how we do that first. Let me remove those two. There we go. And let's go back to our heater. And we're going to do a tether glitch. So, well, we're not going to do a tether glitch. We're going to do the first step of tether glitch. So I'm going to take the heater. I'm going to toggle to the wire. I'm going to place the wire. And I'm going to stretch the wire out. Then we're going to toggle back to the heater. And then we're going to scale up that heater. This is to scale up a wire. You can also scale down a wire if you want to. Like that. And then what we're going to do, we're going to wire glitch it in. There we go. You can now see I got a scaled up wire. Compared with the original size, it is clear my wire has been scaled up. Alright. So now I can use this wire to scale up parts. For example, if you want to build a large garage door, but you want it to be built on a perfect position because we cannot snap scaled parts, you can say, let me just take this garage door here. Let's duplicate it. Let me just put it here so I can duplicate it again if it's not succeeding. We're going to store this in our cache. We're going to duplicate this wire. And now we're going to do a tether glitch combined with a wire glitch. Anyway, we're going to put the wire here on that connection, on that center point here, because we want to make a straight possible line to make it perfectly located. So we're going to put that connector somewhere here, like that. And then we're going to pull that wire to the edge of the floor. And then make sure that we are just putting that connector on the edge of that floor like this. There we go. And then we do a wire glitch. And it didn't succeed. So let's try this again. Store in our cache. Duplicate wire. Pull the wire to the edge. And there we go. You can now see I got a scaled up garage door. With that all done and explained, we can now move to the cache pin glitch. The cache pin glitch is a very interesting technique, very handy if you want to build freighter parts onto your base. Now take into account, it is no longer possible to build base parts on your freighter. I have been trying, there might be still ways to do it, but I had a lot of issues and I did not succeed. If anybody figures out how to do it, you're welcome to share it either in the comments, but you cannot really link anything. So you could go to my Discord, drop videos and say, look, this is how I do it. And if you figure it out, I might make a new updated video about how to do it on a freighter. But for me, I did not succeed at all. So we're going to be talking about the cache pin glitch, which is going to be building freighter parts onto your base, on a planetary base. All right. All right, so what we're going to be doing, the first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to go into our menu, our main menu. We're going to go to catalog and guide. We're going to go to building parts. And then we're going to go to our freighter construction, because that is the only building section that we cannot build on a base. The rest we can build, so we don't need to worry about that. But the freighter construction, we cannot build. So we're going to go to here. We're going to select exterior platform. Doesn't matter, by the way, each of these you can glitch in. I do like to use the exterior platform as an example. So we're going to select this and we're going to say pin. You can see on the bottom there pin, which means I can pin it into my log. You will see now it has been added to my secondary missions. If I now go out of the menu, it's going to pop up to the right screen right there. It's going to show the platform and I'm going to say continue. And now it shows up on the bottom right there. Now, before we do this glitch, you should take into account two things. First of all, make sure you have inventory space. If your inventory is completely full, you will not be able to build this. Also, you need the resources for both the building part you're going to place and the building part you use as the origin part. So, now that we have done that, let's go into our building menu. Maybe I should start again. Let's start again. So let's unpin this formula. Let's go again from scratch. We're going to start, catalog and guide, building parts, freighter construction, exterior platform, pin, add it to our secondary missions, go out of your menu, continue, go into your building menu, press edit parts, go into your building camera, like that, then press edit again, so we go out of the edit menu. And now you can see on the right side, it is going to show exterior platform as the little building info window. Now, you cannot see it on your screen because we are normally not able to build this on the base, so it's not going to show it. So what we need to do now, we just need to store this into our cache. So we're going to be doing a universal adjacency glitch. So we're going to be storing this platform into our cache. And if it doesn't work, we toggle on the wire again and we do it again. And now we are in the edit menu while we have the platform stored in the cache. So we're going to duplicate this floor. We're going to place this floor here and we're going to wire glitch. Now you can see I already put a platform below there just to avoid that distance, because you remember I needed to put a floor on the other technique just to make sure that there was a least amount of distance there, okay? And now we're going to do wire glitch. It didn't work. All right, let's store it again. Store, duplicate, and glitch. There we go. Now this has been built. This means that I just succeeded in finishing my pinned mission. That means that the pinned mission is now gone. It's disappeared. Even if it still is showing exterior platform, let me show you. If I toggle the wire and I toggle back, I am getting my base computer. So I cannot build this platform again in succession. It's going to show me the base computer. Even if I go into my menu, and pin it again, now it is still going to show me the base computer again. It's not going to allow me to build the second platform. So to make sure that doesn't happen, we just need to either delete a part or build a part and remove it. That is kind of just completely erasing the memory of that pinned building block, which means you can do another glitch with a platform like that. It's like you cleanse the palette, pretty much. So now we can go back in here. And let me just put another short wall, just so we can do a second glitch. Let's go into our catalog and guide, building parts, freighter construction, exterior platform. Now we have it again in our missions. Go into our building menu, edit, building camera, edit again, store in your cache, duplicate the floor. No, and then we do this again, store in our cache, duplicate the floor, and glitch it in. Now, if I see toggle again, you can see it goes back to the base computer. The reason it's going back to the base computer is because the first building part in your menu is the base computer. So it is very logical. It just goes to the first building part in your menu because that platform is not part of this building menu. Now, of course, as you can see, these are pointless. They are just little platforms. They are not in the right position. I cannot use them as a walkway or anything, so we need to prepare for that better. One way to prepare for that better is by using the correct dimensions. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let me just remove this one right here, and let's build the pavings. If I build a paving, you will notice that the paving here has the same footprint size as the footprint of this platform. This means we can use that one as the perfect way to put a grids out to have all these things perfectly placed and snapped together. Now, I can go in a lot of detail for this one. There are a lot of techniques to work with ladders and all that. I don't want to spend that much time in this video about it. If you're interested to know how to do that, let me know in the comments. I will then maybe look into making a dedicated guide on the cache pin glitch and how to build in different levels. All right. So now that we know that this length, two of these pavings, is the same as the length of a walkway, And if I would build more than one, and I do 2 of them, and we know that the center here and the center here is where we should glitch our walkways, then we will have a perfect linked up to the floor and also have 2 walkways perfectly linked as well, which means they are going to be open and walkable. Now, the problem with these pavings is that they are not reliable. I cannot do any wire glitch. I cannot do a reverse wire glitch. I cannot do a adjacency. I cannot do a universal adjacency. None of the techniques work with pavings. So I need to find another solution for this. So let me just remove those. Let's move those on the outside. What we need is we need to be on the center of this floor right here. This is also the same as the center of this panel here, this section, not the floor, this section. So if we somehow could find a way to get a small floor on the center of this line, then we should have a panel here perfectly centered on both this middle line and this middle line. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to build a half wall, and we're going to universal adjacency glitch this one. So we're going to duplicate this. We're going to be storing it in our cache. And again, duplicate this large floor, and we're going to snap it here on the edge of that floor, and we're going to wire glitch. There we go. So now we got a half wall perfectly centered here, which means I can take my small floor, and let's take one that is recognizable as a line. Maybe we should take this one. There we go. You cannot see that this one is perfectly in the center of this floor here. And if I go one further and I extend these even further, you can see that this one is also perfectly centered here. So the only ones we really need are those 2 floors here to glitch our wires in. So let me prepare this by just snapping another small floor here and here. So then we can build 2 wire connectors there and there. Another thing we need is a garage door, so we can do our reverse wire glitch. We're going to build that right here. And then we're going to go to a short wall, and we're going to reverse wire glitch from that short wall, and then pull that to that garage door. So now we got the line prepared. Now we can take this floor, snap it against it, and do another reverse wire glitch, and snap it against that wall, that wire. And the same we can do here, and do the same here. So now we got 2 connectors ready. We can remove this garage door, and we can remove this wire. These 2 connectors now are able to be used as the snapping points for our walkway. With that done, we can go back into our catalog and guide, building parts, freighter construction, exterior platform, pin, continue, go into your building menu, edit build, build camera. Instead of the universal adjacency glitch, we are going to do a wire glitch, which means we are going to be pressing edit again, but not store. We're just going to toggle to the wire. Toggle to the wire, put that wire on that connector, and wire glitch. And that is our first exterior platform. Now, we of course cannot do it again because we are getting our base computer. So let's just build, remove, go back into our catalog and guide, building parts, freighter construction, exterior platform, continue, building menu, edit, build camera, edit again, toggle to wire, go to the connector, and glitch them. And look at that. 2 nicely connected walkways and ready for whatever we're going to do here, because what I would like to do is actually put a stair down there, but that's a little bit too advanced. So if you want to see a guide about this, I can show you more techniques on how to do the cache pin glitch and how this works. But I think that is about all I can share with you today about all the techniques available for glitch building that are still working, that are a little bit annoying, need some workarounds here and there, but once you get the new techniques, you should be able to do quite a lot of glitch building again. Sadly enough, don't hope on Corvette glitch building. I have not been able to do any Corvette glitches. Again, if anybody has ideas, suggestions, or solutions, join the Discord, drop videos, drop links, whatever. You can always help the community out and see if we can get back to where we were with glitch building in the past. But this is going to be it for today. I hope this was helpful and useful. If you have any questions, you can always drop them in the comments below or join the Discord. We can have some discussions about it. But that's going to be it. I appreciate you all hanging out. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more, let me know. Hit that thumbs up. Maybe subscribe if you want to. And I will see you next time. This was Beeblebum. Goodbye for now.